Hi, and welcome to Alaskan in the Philippines. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about how to be a bachelor. How to be a bachelor in Asia, specifically here in Thailand where I am currently now. It's something you're gonna have to do, If a lot of you guys are sitting there, you're retired, you're probably coming off a bad divorce, and the US is getting too much for you, and you just want to relax in a place where your food is good, the weather's warm, the women are beautiful, people are kind, not a huge crime problem at all. And that sounds pretty good for retirement for your later life and your years, as you get older. Makes perfect sense. But a lot of you guys have been living there with your children to help wait on you, your wife or your ex-wife that used to do all your cooking and cleaning for you. You're going to have to rethink on how you're going to make it alone, So, one thing you got to do is you get you a nice apartment, a place that you like, somewhere quiet, preferably not in the middle of the circus, if that's what you can do. And when you find an apartment, find one that you can cook, even basically cooking. You got to be able to basically cook. You need to be able to fry some eggs. You can cook a burger. A man that can't cook is like a guy that can't fish or garden, You got to be able to feed yourself, basically. Can't depend on other people to do it. So if you're one of those people that can't, and I can't believe there are those men, but if you're one of those, retirement, it would be a good hobby to pick up, learn how to cook. So anyway, you want to be able to cook, take care of yourself, keep clean. Of course, that's a given, keep clean. Nobody's going to want to be around you if you're a smelly old hermit living in a smelly old apartment in some Asian community in Thailand, or something. So just keep that in mind. Be mindful of keeping your cleanliness about you, Also, be sure to stay out of the sun. You're not a tourist. You're not on vacation. Don't be one of the guys that go out and lay out in the sun on this beach or go out. What you want to do is take care of your skin. Hide from the sun. The Thais got it right. They wear cloth, and I'm going to do it too. And I'm going to get a long sleeves, thin shirt to wear outside. I don't want to be cooking my skin every time I go out. And I also avoid the afternoon sun. That's the best thing to do. Get your business taken care of in the morning and hide away the rest of the hot afternoon sun, do your indoor business. That's what I do. I just exercise and stuff and relax for the afternoon. And then I'll go back out in the evening and take another walk after a beach walk in the morning, when it's cooler. But even then, at 7 o'clock, it can be 85 already, and the sun will already be cooking my pale skin. So even when I start taking off sometimes, lately I've been walking in the shadow of the beach condos on the street side, just walking the street instead of the beach because the sun has been so hot at 7:30. I don't want to go expose myself. You don't want to get sunburnt real bad. I got sunburnt real bad in the Philippines while I was snorkeling, just an hour of snorkeling. I was having such a great time, I wasn't even paying attention to nothing. I was seeing sea turtles and stuff. It was just beautiful coral reefs, and I was just blown my mind again, just swimming around, paddling right on the top of the water. It wasn't even very deep, only 5-6 feet deep. And all these beautiful coral reefs, but my back was exposed. And man, when I got home that night, I had blisters on my back all over, and they were itching and painful. And I spent the next week begging for people to put aloe and begging my girlfriend to put aloe and rub my poor back that was itching so bad, and all those little pustules burst, and you're setting yourself up for infection and stuff. You don't want that. Not in these Asian country where it's humid, this jungle weather, it'll make you, get infection real easy. So you got to be careful of all your cuts. In fact, I suggest you bring a tube of Neosporin, especially if you're going to the Philippines, because you can't buy that stuff there. It's hard to come by. Crazy as it is, you can't buy over-the-counter things like, you can't get Tylenol and cough medications over in a store. You got to go to the pharmacy to get that stuff. Here in Thailand, I think you can probably get about anything over the counter. I don't know. I haven't tried to buy anything. But yeah, so take care of your skin. And don't, like, for some reason, there's a lot of little bugs that'll bite you in Asia, I noticed. I don't know if it's the flies or fleas, probably, but you get some bug bites. You wake up, even bed bug bites. You wake up and you don't want to scratch those. Mosquito bites, you'll get scratch in your skin and you'll open up a sore. Example for me, just about a week ago, for some reason, I had this pimple pop up right on my arm. Right there, for no reason at all. I never seen a pimple on my arm, and it kept growing into a pus pocket, and I had to finally lance it open. And I took nail clippers and opened it up. It was getting big. And when I ripped it open and wiped it off with some of that antibacterial cream that I brought from Alaska, I brought 2 tubes, and I've been using it too on like bug bites and stuff. So when I grabbed and tried to scrape some of that, I noticed a little tiny stinger was in the skin when I ripped off that pus pocket thing. And I noticed it looked like a bee stinger. I used to raise bees, so I know bees quite well. And it looked like one of the they got a little tiny honeybee here that's about a quarter of the size of our honeybee. It's really tiny. And it looked like a stinger of one of those. That's what I'm guessing it was. And somehow I got stung and didn't know it, and the stinger was lodged, and there's a little poison in that end of the stinger that stayed there and made a pimple that was infected. So I had to wipe that out, and then it turned out into a kind of a scar and everything. I thought it was a spider bite, but it's got to be just them little bee sting. But that was weird, just out of the blue, and luckily I had that Neosporin because it was going to get away from me. It was looking like it was going to be an infection spreading. It had a red ring around it and everything, and that Neosporin cleared that up. So yeah, bring some of that with you and be safe. Take care of your skin, stay out of the sun. That's my point. Go out in the morning and the evening. And then you can be sure to, a lot of you guys are going to be lonely, and right away you're going to maybe want to find a girl that can help you through all this, not knowing the language, and that's kind of a good thing too. And maybe a lot of you guys are going to be meeting girls online, and you're going to be meeting them up here. That's kind of a risky thing to do. You don't want to invest too much in that idea, but it's worth a try if you want. You'll be lucky to find a Thai girl online that'll meet you and be a good girlfriend. I'm not saying it can't happen, but a lot of those girls are professional. Their online business is professional in Thailand. It seems like all the dating sites, you're going to meet pros. The massage ladies are just freelancers, so it's going to be hard. I don't know if I'd go with that. So get it into your head. You're probably at some point you're going to be a bachelor here, and you got to be ready to be that. And if you're a drinker, that's another thing. Are you going to be out drinking every night? As a bachelor, you could do that. You can walk around here, and drinks are pretty cheap. I see there's 70 baht for those of you who want a beer. I don't know, those are kind of the imports where you can probably find it cheaper, but I don't drink myself, so I don't know. I just noticed a sign this morning. I thought I'd relay the information to you guys that probably going to want to have a cold beer. 70 baht, so that's over $1. That's $1.70 for a beer. That ain't too bad. I guess it's probably much more than that. I haven't drank one in Alaska in many years either, so it's probably more than that. So yeah, like $1.70 for a beer. And they'll be serving you. You can walk down the street here, and there'll be a little booth with whiskey bottles lined up. You can do shots right there. You can buy beers right there, cold beers about anywhere, and just actually drink one walking down the street, I believe. I see people doing it. And at 7-Eleven, they'll sell single beers. So if you're kind of trying to be a recovering alcoholic, this is going to be kind of a challenge for you with the alcoholic opportunities here in Thailand, especially. Philippines, you don't see it. It's there. There's beer. You can buy at every little mom and pop store. There'll be beer and Tan Hai rum that sells for like $1.50 a pint. So that's real cheap to be an alcoholic here. And if you're a bachelor or a recovering alcoholic, that's kind of not a good situation. You're going to have some willpower about you to be able to function around here, because Thailand, here in Hue Hin, there's just rows and rows of bars. I don't know the difference between the girly bars, the karaoke bars, the go-go bars. I don't know any of that. There's probably other channels for that. You're going to have to look at that. I don't know how much the bar fines are. I'm not bringing those ladies home or nothing like that. So there's other channels you can check for that. But yeah, so being a Bachelor man here in Thailand, and if all these bars around are going to be a problem for you, you might want to go to the Philippines where there's not quite so many bars like that, because here it's just rows and rows of them. I don't understand how you want to, everybody says, well, you got to go to Pattaya, you got to see Pattaya, it's such a circus, but and there's so many bars there, but how many do you need? Here in Hue Hin is a small community. Google says it's 50,000, and I'm guessing there's 1,000 drinking establishments or more, maybe 1,000 massage parlors. I don't know why you would need to go to Pattaya. There's nice malls here too. I guess it's just farther. That's why they go to Pattaya. Pattaya is closer to Bangkok. That makes sense. But yeah, it's everywhere, and I don't think you really need to go to one place or another to get it. Really, Thailand's a big magical circus everywhere you go, it seems like. But anyway, so that's one thing you want to be mind-worthy of, is if you're an alcoholic kind of guy and you're going to slip back into that lifestyle, you be real careful in how you do it. I'm sure it's safe to do it here if you're going to do it, but why you'd want to come here and just be a alcoholic wreck, that's beyond me. But I see it. I see a guy I walked by this morning. I ain't saying the alcoholic wreck, but it's probably day was coming. Guy sitting there, and it's not uncommon, sitting there at 8 o'clock in the morning at one of the outside street stands. They have tables at the outside bars, and he's already there drinking a beer at 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30 even. I see these guys. I don't know who they are, where they're from, but German, maybe Americans, anyone will do it, I guess. But yeah, if you're just on vacation, that's fine. You can have a party it out, go for it. You're on vacation. But a guy that's planning on retiring and being an expat, you're probably gonna want to play nursemaid to the beers and not be hitting the bars hard and hardy. That's probably where all your friends will be. If you start and you come here and you're going into the bars every day, then that's where all your friends are going to be, and you're going to know that's going to be your crowd. Those are going to be the only people you're going to know, and that's the only life you're going to know. So I'd try to. It's harder to break into the outside world than just jumping into the bar and everybody's got loose lips and talk to you, and you can make friends easily. Drunks, men and women. There'll be women all over, and you'll get to know all kinds of people. And it'd be the easy, quick route, but I think those quality of friends might not be so good in the end. You never know. Not saying they're bad people or nothing, but you probably ought to learn to function in the regular world first before you go into the easy living like that, And another thing, if you're living here in a Bachelor, talking about the bars lives and stuff, you're probably going to bump into some a-hole, somebody on vacation, a little bit too drunk, he's mouthy, in your face, making you uncomfortable or whatever, and pushing you to fight or something. I would highly, highly recommend to ignore that situation and retreat, walk away. There's nothing you're going to prove to these people. And especially if it's a Thai. You don't want to mess with the Thais. You do not do that. You don't want that black mark. Even if you fight with another tourist from another country, you're going to be on a black mark on your visa, and they're probably going to get you out of the country and not be so happy to let you back in. That's one thing. Avoid all fights at all cost. I would, and I'm going to myself. I've never had anybody push me into any situations yet, but you can see some of the attitudes of the foreigners around here. Same at the Philippines. There's a few of them that they seem to be ruder if you're in another country, they're ruder to you than you were if you met them in your own country. Anyway, it seems like. But anyway, not that I've had a lot of rude experiences or nothing. There's just a lot of, with the drinking and all the bars, you're going to meet up with somebody that's probably going to go against your grain. And that's just one thing. You don't want to get involved in anything like that. And the alcohol I went over, you don't want to become a drunk. The drugs, you want to stay away from that. There's weed shops. If you're into weed, there's weed shop around any corner. There's fairly harmless. If you're doing nothing, that's probably not a problem. I've read the signs going by. There's 200 baht a gram for weed. Most places I've seen. Some and more get expensiver yet. But yeah, that would probably be a safer bet than if you're out hitting the clubs every night. And probably it would save your finances. That would be a bad combination if you got here, with too much money and you were spending it in the bars. And it's also a bad combination if you came here with not enough money and you're spending it in the bars. That could be really devastating to you and get you behind in a place where you don't want to be, living in a flea bag hotel. You know, there's some cheapo places. If some of these guys will get stuck and probably have to move into them if they're spending their money on alcohol or something they can't stop. So that's one thing you want to take care of. You don't want to get into alcoholism problems or things like that. But anyway, bide your time. Don't pick a girl too quickly. Don't be in a hurry to grab a girl, you know, just to make it easier for you. Because making a bad choice could be worse than making no choice at all on that. So I'd be careful. You don't want to be ripped off. Not that I've heard anybody getting ripped off or anything like that, but I'm sure it happens. Or be disappointed, you know. Or the girl, you know, you might find a young girl that'll hang out with you while you got a lot of money, and then you're helping her out, and she's packing that money, the little bits you're giving her, she's packing that away and saving it. And in the end, when she got enough, she probably ain't going to be hanging around an old man anymore. She's going to take off and go meet up with a young guy down the street. You know, that's how that kind of works out a lot of times. So be careful of that scenario too. So come in, take your time, find yourself a genuine woman, someone that'll actually appreciate what you're doing, and take your time into your retirement. You know, you ain't in no hurry. You're going to be here. Take your time. Figure things out slow. Don't be in a rush to do anything. That's my advice. I'm sticking to it. Thanks, and anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Appreciate all you guys subscribing, liking, and sharing. Thanks again. Goodbye.